friends, welcome to another video. My name is Deborah for those that don't know me, and I am an illustrator from Sydney, Australia. In this video we will be updating my online shop/website. I have 3 goals for this shop update. The first one is to implement my new branding. I changed my branding around July this year, and unfortunately my website still reflects my old branding. Secondly, I need to add all of the products that I've made this year. I've made a lot of new collections for markets and events, and unfortunately none of them are available online yet. And thirdly, I want to also cycle out some old products that I feel no longer fit with my new branding. And the first thing we're going to do today is take some new product photos. I want to replace all the product photos, even the ones that are already on my website, because I want them to match the new branding, and also because I took all of those photos with my phone camera. Although phone cameras are doing the most nowadays, my phone is pretty old and the camera is not that great, so we're going to be taking the photos with my DSLR. Granted, this DSLR is pretty old. I think it might even be older than my phone, but I know for a fact that the camera is still better than my phone camera. By the time you're watching this, the shop update should already be live, so you can check the link in the description. Anyway, let's get started and take some photos. So as mentioned, I'm taking photos on my DSLR, which is a Nikon D3-400. I got this years ago in like 2016, but personally I think it's still an excellent entry-level camera that was also really affordable at the time. I'm using a 35mm prime lens as well as an 18mm to 55mm kit lens, as I don't have anything wider than that. For Abracadabra, I used to drape a piece of fabric or clothing over the corner of my table and photograph my product on top of it, and then I would digitally doodle on top of the photos. I would use my phone for this and usually take photos in a square format when Instagram still liked that. This time I'm just taking snaps of my items with my studio space as the background. I spent a lot of time decorating this room, and I feel like it's finally at a place where most of it is pretty enough on its own, without having to create sets for product photography. I plan to keep using this method in the future since it's quick and easy, and honestly I really like how the photos turned out. I also think using a DSLR makes them look way nicer than when I used to use my phone. I take my photos in RAW instead of JPEG so that they have more editing capability, and for my editing I mainly bring up the exposure and add warmth. Technically, this room does get a lot of sunlight in the morning, however since I'm rarely awake at that time, it's usually darker by the time I'm working. So even though the RAW photos are super dark, I can edit them to be a lot brighter since I captured them in this file format. I also have a detachable cold shoe light that I can attach to my camera and change the brightness, color and temperature of. So I use that to add a little bit more reflective light to the products. I try not to use my studio's big lights when I'm recording or taking photos, as they are often unflattering or cast dark shadows. Here are some of the final shots that I'll be using for product photos as well as promotional images. Over the last few days, I have been taking product photos and editing them, and I am still in the process of doing that. Editing photos takes me a lot longer than I feel like it should. I'm always worried that I'm going to overwork the edits, or like I will think that the photo looks good and then I'll come back to it like a day or 2 later and I'll not like it anymore. Unfortunately, I haven't finished taking all the photos either, because I did realize on the first day that I was doing this that I am out of some of my stickers and sticker sheets, and obviously I can't take photos of those things if I don't have them. I know I could always do like a digital kind of mock-up. I prefer just taking photos of the actual products. Thought it would be cool if I found a photo frame to put my prints in and take photos of that, instead of just having the prints like laying on a table. It is strangely very difficult to find an A4 frame in the style and aesthetic that I want. A lot of department stores that carry A4 frames have really minimal or modern kind of aesthetics. I thought the next best thing might be to just go to a thrift shop and look for photo frames. None of the frames that I bought are A4 sized. I just checked them all now. I thought one of them was, because it looked like there was an A4 piece of paper inside it, but it is too small. But not all hope is lost, because I do love framing my art prints that I buy from other artists. It also just occurred to me right before filming this that I think this frame and maybe one up here, I can't really see it in the viewfinder, but I'm pretty sure I have like 2 A4 frames, and it's just occurred to me that I can just take these off the wall and use those as the props. Anyway, regardless of all that, I wanted to show you guys what I got at the op shops. Unfortunately, when I was driving back home, I hit the brakes a little too hard. Fingers crossed that nothing is cracked or broken. So hard to see
back. You put smiles on everyone. Think of you and of all I should have done. Don't you agree? With beating hearts we're still alive. There comes a time when all you have is who you love. And Cornelia, you'll be all I'm thinking of.
In preparation of this shop update, I had to create a lot of new graphics like carousel banners, product collection covers, and social media posts to fit my new aesthetic. And I did it all through Kiddle, who are kindly sponsoring this segment of the video. I was very excited to work with them because I've actually been using them for a little while now, and I absolutely love all of the features and tools available. It means there is less app switching for the graphic design tasks I need to get done, which saves me so much time. I love that you can create multiple artboards in one project and position them however you want. I love that you can duplicate and resize each board within the same project for different social media platforms. Now let's create a social media post for my upcoming event schedule. One of my absolute favorite things about Kiddle is the variety of fonts they have and their text tools. Kiddle has so many pretty fonts to fit whatever vibe you want, and what's cool is that you can see every single glyph that is included in the fonts. So if you're a little bit extra like me and want to make your text look a bit fancier or emphasize certain letters, that's all there for you and it's super easy to use. You can also manipulate the shape of your text in any way that you want, which I think is really handy, as you can see for the social media post I'm making. I also love the shape builder tool and pen tool, which allows you to create custom vector shapes without any hassle. You'll also see one of my staple tools in Kiddle is the duplicate tool. It makes things so much faster than rebuilding the same assets and shapes over and over again. These are all tools I've discovered and used while exploring Kiddle for myself, and overall I feel like that it's a really intuitive and easy to use app. Kiddle are kindly offering a generous 25% discount on all Kiddle plans, including annual plans, for new users with the discount code DEBYT. You can also click on the link in the description below to check it out for free today. Thank you again Kiddle for sponsoring this part of the video and making my workflow as a small business owner and artist much easier. Okay, so it's been a little while since I checked into the vlog. Things have just been kind of like busy and not busy at the same time. Just mainly been sitting at the computer, editing photos and setting up all of the listings and all the Shopify stuff, so it hasn't really been interesting footage. I just don't really want to get dressed most days. Speaking of getting dressed, I am dressed like this today. Very pink and very cute. This lovely artist reached out to me and they're doing like a mini music festival, but they wanted to bring in some small businesses as well. So yeah, I'm very grateful because there was no table cost, and you know, I don't think I'm going to be selling a lot of things, but I am really excited because I'm going to be hearing some really cool music. I also just wanted to chat about how I've been feeling lately. Another reason why I haven't really been vlogging is just because I've been feeling really down lately. There's just some stuff in my personal life that's been making me feel like a little bit anxious, a little bit sad, but I have been going out and seeing my friends and everything. And I honestly think it's just because it's coming towards the end of the year. I'm starting to overthink. Literally 1 week ago, so the 3rd of October, it was my 1 year anniversary of leaving my full-time corporate job. So that's like a pretty big milestone for me. I feel like I should be more excited and happy about that, but I just don't know how I feel about it. So yeah, I think the fact that it's already been a full year since I left my job, and also the fact that we're coming towards the end of the year, it's just made me think a lot. I remember at the start of the year, I was really worried that I wouldn't have any events towards the end of the year, but new markets keep popping up and stuff, which is great. I've gotten into 2 markets, and like I know a lot of artists experience this. There were 2 pretty big events that I applied for, and I don't think I've gotten into either of them because I know that people have already gotten acceptances, but I haven't gotten anything from them, so I don't know if I've been waitlisted or rejected. Way worse than just being outright rejected, because at least I would know that I've been rejected, but instead I'm kind of just anxiously waiting. It does feel quite discouraging, and saying that as someone who has gotten into a lot of the events that I've applied for this year, so I know how lucky I've been with events, but I have experienced some rejections this year as well, and I don't know why, but these ones have hit so much harder than the previous ones I've gotten. I have so many artist friends as well now. Whenever I see them getting accepted into events that I haven't been accepted into, it makes me feel a little bit sad. I'm really happy for them because I know that those events will be really good. I think I need to be careful that these feelings of discouragement that I get from the rejections don't turn into any sort of like bitterness, but I do wonder if my rebrand is causing me to get rejections more often now that I'm going towards this like medieval fantasy kind of aesthetic. Even though my art is still kind of all over the place, I'm definitely also heading towards that direction, and I wonder if like the markets events I apply for kind of just see like the fantasy medieval aesthetic and they're like, we don't want this. I think I need to start reconsidering what kind of events I apply for too, because now my booth is not as neutral or versatile as it was when I first started. That doesn't really discourage me from the rebrand. Like I still want to double down on the vision I have because I think that's still what's true to me. I'll still get opportunities to do markets and maybe some other things as well. Sorry, there's just so many feelings. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. So it is technically the day of the shop update and I am far from ready. There were still a few things I needed to do, and at the moment you're watching me do a stock count, but I also needed to work out shipping, which involved a lot of steps like finding packaging for my products, weighing my products individually, researching shipping prices, and of course just making sure that all the information was input correctly into Shopify. I published a few posts and stories before the update on Instagram, but I didn't really do much marketing for it. And honestly, I felt like this website update was more for my own peace of mind because I wanted it to match the rest of my new branding and I wanted my online product catalog to be up to date. Realistically, I wasn't expecting anyone to order anything. I don't think I have a large enough audience for that, and again, I barely did any marketing for it, so I'm not even sure if people know about it. But regardless, I was very happy with the end result. reopened my shop last night and I didn't really vlog any of it. I'm sorry, this is probably like the most anticlimactic, underwhelming shop update video you've ever watched. I definitely recommend, if you're doing a shop update, not to have a marker like 2 nights before. I now have a polyphasic sleep structure. Basically means that instead of sleeping like 8 hours in one night, I will break up my sleeping into 2 different sections or more. So for example, I'll sleep for like 3 hours and then I'll be awake for like another 5 hours. And then I'll sleep again for like 5 or 6 hours and then wake up again. Throughout certain parts of the day, I'll end up feeling really exhausted and just fall asleep. And I won't wake up again until like later in the night. I won't be able to go back to sleep, so I'll just end up doing work. Things have been like that lately. I initially scheduled the shop update for yesterday 6 p.m. but unfortunately I did not make that deadline, and I did 6 p.m. on purpose because when I decided on this date, I knew that I wouldn't be able to do a morning shop update because I am not a morning person, and I knew that I would be working on the shop update all the way until it happened. And so I decided if I put it later in the day, maybe it would give me a little bit more leeway. Pretty much the website and everything was ready to go. I tested out like the checkout stuff. And this is a problem that I should have foreseen. Whenever I would try checkout with a US address, if it wasn't letter mail, it would come up with an error and like you wouldn't be able to check out. I use Sendle to deliver my packages. They haven't failed me so far because with all of the tariff stuff happening, I think they're still trying to figure out what to do as well. I saw that they added some DDP guarantee thing, which makes it a lot easier for us because it just means we pay one price and they deal with all of the tariff situation and everything depending on like the HS codes we put in and whatever we claim. But it is very, very expensive. For example, I tried putting in a 3-inch acrylic keychain and it ended up being almost like 40 or 50 Australian dollars to send off to a hypothetical like American customer, which is absolutely crazy. And the problem was that even though Sendle is integrated with Shopify, I don't think that they've integrated this new DDP guarantee stuff with Shopify, so it was coming up with an error every time I was trying to check out as an American customer. So I decided to just put a very significant flat rate for American customers, which I know is like not ideal at all. It's very, very bad, honestly, but I just don't feel like I can do anything unless I completely take away US shipping, only stick to like untrackable letter mail for US orders. I do also want to address I did have to raise like the prices of my online store. I also want to be transparent about it. There's a lot more that goes into packing online orders than, for example, selling at a market. Of course, market prep takes a long time, but when you're packaging an order, there's more materials that go into it, more branding, and of course sometimes having to go to the post office. Not only that, but Ozpost also increased their prices for letter mail as well. The way that I also see it now is that being able to order from an online shop is much more of a convenience than having to go somewhere and buy something. So if you visit me at a market, those prices will always be cheaper than what I'm offering in my online store. I think that when I was experimenting with retail stuff earlier this year, I should have increased the prices on those things as well because of how expensive some of the rental fees were. So I ended up researching all of these shipping things and my shop update was delayed by 2 hours, so I ended up going live again at 8 p.m. I'm finally happy with everything. I feel like the aesthetic is truly me. With a shop update, I'm not expecting to get a lot of orders, honestly, but I did get a significant order yesterday from a customer, and I'm really, really grateful because it was a repeat customer who has bought from my store multiple times before, and that's always very touching to me. Even just knowing that I have repeat customers is such a cool thing, that people like my art enough that they want to get more of it or like come back. It's such a wholesome feeling. Last time I checked in, I think I mentioned that I was bummed about not getting into 2 events that I applied for. Literally that night I got an invoice from one of the events, so I got accepted into one of them. That really lifted my mood. And yeah, I think I've just been able to reflect a little bit more on my journey so far. It's been a whole year now. Like, I definitely feel like that should be something to be celebrated now. I didn't mean for the shop update to coincide with that. I think that being able to just look back on all of the things that I did this year and all of the products I made, those were just things that I was thinking about while I was redesigning the website. I feel extremely privileged and happy to have made it this far. Of course, with a lot of support and help, but I don't think that really diminishes my achievement. And yeah, before I forget, I'll show you guys the new website, which is what I came on here to talk about. Welcome to the new and improved abracadeborah.com. I have a very wide monitor, so it may look a little different for you depending on which device you're looking at it on. The homepage layout is mainly the same. It's mainly an aesthetic change. But as you can see, I've got some banners here on this carousel. So yeah, we've got the shop update announcement as well as this button here that says new to the shop, and when you click on this, you'll get to see all of the new items that I've added into the online store. On the second slide, I've got the last chance or like clearance items, and if you click this button, it'll take you to all of the clearance items and items that won't be restocked. This third slide is for my Field Notes of Fiction collection that I have added to the store. And this fourth one is for my magical bookmark collection. Finally, I put the Peach Beach collection, which is a limited series. Most of these items are the ones that I made with Vistaprint earlier in the year. Mainly the notepads and bookmarks, this mug. Of course, these stickers I make myself. Going down here, we've got the new arrivals. They look really big on this screen. But yeah, here are all of the new things. I'm so happy with how the product photos turned out. Down here I've got my latest video. At the moment it is this small artist market vlog. Down here I've still got upcoming events, and you can expand these windows like this by clicking on them. So yeah, we've got the shop update, we've got some markets I'm doing. So we've got Fortress, Momoland. I've put this Honey Mustard Club website launch here because I really want to do this year. I really don't want to wait until next year, but I just don't know where I'll fit that in. Next year I've got Hoji Tart Market, Animaga Sydney, and ACAU Art Mart. Down here we've got some news with the new blog post that I wrote, which is just kind of like an overview of everything that's been happening lately and how we got to this point. Down here I've got an Instagram gallery that just shows my Instagram posts. Banner up here is free shipping on domestic orders, $70 and over. And then the second banner is for US customers. For this first menu I've got my shop. I've got shop by series. And I redid this whole page and I think it looks so pretty. I've got original art and series up here. My original art is anything that isn't fan art. I've got my magical bookmarks here and field notes of fiction here, and then I've got all my fan art collections down here. I've got this button that's showing me everything, which is just all the products. So there's a few pages of that. And I've got shop sale items, which is the clearance sale stuff. So the Peach Beach collection, as well as some things that I'm rotating out of the store, are on sale. And of course you can also find these links up here, as well as a shop FAQ. So I've got a US customers README, which just talks about all of the shipping situation that I mentioned earlier, and some more general questions like where I'm located, how orders will be packed, and refunds, care instructions, etc. Next I've got this tab which is projects, which is kind of not really important, but I just like having it here because this isn't really just my online shop. It's kind of like a hub for all of my projects and everything. So I've got the Honey Mustard Club page here, which I haven't changed. An Instagram account that I have, which is just kind of about my hobbies and everything. And then I've got another Instagram showcase, which is just all my travel photos and everything. I don't really post on here very much because I haven't been doing any traveling. Next I've got my news and blog page, which is just all of the blog posts I've written. I updated my about page a little bit. I updated this blurb and just added things about my YouTube channel and doing art full time and doing markets and stuff. And finally I have my contact page at the end, which is very simple. Before I end the video, I wanted to show my new signature and also my attempt at updating my display picture / icon. I wanted to update it to match my new branding, but I still have a lot of trouble drawing people, so I found it quite challenging. And in the end, although I'm not unhappy with it, unfortunately it doesn't read well at a small size, and it's kinda hard to tell what it is when it's that small. Obviously this is what it would mainly be used for, like profile pictures and such. I I think it needs a bit more contrast and the stars might need to be bigger, so I'll keep on working on this and hopefully you'll see my updated profile picture soon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I still feel a little odd uploading vlogs sometimes because I don't ever really know if anyone will watch them, but I always receive such lovely comments, so thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to check out my new website and Kindle in the link below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!